Franco, just your initial reactions to that?
Yeah, obviously we're proud as a team and obviously disappointed. But if you look at it, we were outplayed by an international team, and we knew that. We knew that coming in here. We knew that that they will be up for this. They haven't played since the Six Nations. They're fresh. They got a point to prove in Europe for a long time. We came with our best intent, and I will not fault the effort of the boys. I think we were just absolutely outplayed at every part of the game. I think not the first coach that sits here. I think other coaches have sat here and said they how good they are. For me, we've been winning quite a bit as Glasgow Warriors. We are pushing the players' boundaries and limits to get better every week, but to now firsthand to come and experience what's still needed to be competitive at international level or at the top end of club rugby is the lesson that we're going to take from it.
Is that a bit of a shock that the difference was quite as wide as it was in that game?
No, it's not, because the score is a reflection in the end looks big, but if you chase a score of 31-0 by half time, you're going to take a risk and play in areas of the field where you shouldn't, and that lead to other points. So, no, it's absolutely not. There's once a year or once a season with a good team, blips like this happen, and we unfortunately were just on the receiving end of a extremely good team that's been playing well. They put 60 beyond the Harlequins last week. Now they've scored 110 points in 2 games. It can't be, a lack of they must do something. They must do something well, and that's where the compliments sit tonight. I think we know now, and I told that the boys in the change room, is that we know now what's needed. We keep on telling them every week we still got to improve. We still in every area of the game we still need to improve if we want to be competitive in international rugby, and then specifically at the back end of this competition, it's going to take a lot more than what we're already doing. So we will take that, like I said, as a lesson.
When you talk about the context you're mentioning there, the opposition and also the players that you're missing, Franco, does that make it not a result that you can rush off, but that it shouldn't have any real long-term impact?
No, I'm going to brush the result off. We didn't not rock up tonight to play. We just got beaten by a very strong team that is so much ahead of every club in the competition. I think there was a comment last week about them being better than Ireland. You replace Bandi Aki with Barrett. It's different. You've got two-time World Cup winner in the lock, and it's impressive. I think the Leinster environment demands that from the quality of the squad that they have. They don't beat teams without that margin every week. They are the ones that's not performing. Now, their second group toured South Africa and came back with wins away from home against full South African teams. We must put this in perspective. Have we missed players tonight? Yes, that's not an excuse at all. What I'm excited about is that 9 other players or 10 other players got an opportunity to experience this. So we will take that experience and we will take their experience of the game and what's still needed into our environment, and now we can kick on. And I don't have to, on a Monday morning, try and explain that there's gold at the end of a rainbow. You still have to work really, really hard to get to it.
The injury list is already pretty big, and you seem to have another one added at the end of Matt with a nasty one. Yeah,
it looks like Matt has got a serious lower limb injury. He's gone to hospital to be x-rayed. We're hoping for the best. It doesn't look like anything was displaced, so it looks like from that perspective, it's positive. But I think most of those things end up in a surgery anyway. So, but I'm not the doctor here tonight. I'm not trying to be, but we anticipate the worst for this season at least.
Questions for Rory?
Sorry, there at the back still.
Oh, sorry.
What did you make the performance of Sam Prendergast in particular?
Look, he's a good quality rugby player. I followed him. My son is the same age, so he played in the World Cup, into under 20 World Cup in South Africa last year, is it? Year before. And already saw his qualities then. You know, he's playing in a very, very good team. I think they make it easier for him. I think to have Jordie Barrett and Gibson Park both sides of you, to have the quality of the forwards that give you that go forward, and they never lose a collision. For him to just to orchestrate everything, he does that really, really well. And he's coming along nicely. He's had to learn the hard way sometimes, but I mean, he slotted in so nicely. You wouldn't see the difference. You can't see the difference from another player there. So I think he's actually progressing very well.
Questions for Rory?
Rory, you could quite get the blocks there. What's your kind of assessment about why that was the case?
I think Franco touched on it. It wasn't necessarily one part of our game. It was probably across the board. They were just that bit better than us, and then they're so ruthless that any time you're off it, so they get a bit of front foot ball and they either poke it through and make you exit, or they take their chances really well. So it's worth saying credit to Leinster initially, because they were really good tonight. And when you catch them on days like that, they can score points quickly.
When they were scoring points quickly, what was the kind of message behind the posts from presumably Kyle, yourself, and others?
Yeah, we had things that we can go back to from defensive point of view. The real clear message we can go to that we worked on throughout the week. And Kyle spoke really well, just about going back to sort of our process and not deviating from the plan that we came into the game with. Because I think there was parts in that first sort of 15 where you saw we were causing them issues at the breakdown, and there was a couple of sets in attack where we sort of held on to ball really well. So it was just about doing more of that. But yeah, that they made full use of any time we sort of went away from it and capitalised on it.
How important is it really that the margin of that defeat doesn't cover everything that you've still got to play for this season?
Yeah, I think it definitely won't. We Franco already spoke in the changing room, and like you said earlier, the good thing about sort of experiencing that is everyone who's on the pitch today knows what it takes to perform at that level that Leinster were at today, and they are the best, they're the benchmark. So from here on in, we've experienced it, and we get to push it in training and play for everything we've still got to play for in the league. So no more European rugby for us, but it's everything into the league now.
Rory, you'll be back during the league in about a month's time. That game could take on a very different complexion. Obviously, squad-wise, you guys may have some of those big heavies that you missed today back, and you're going for competition as well with Leinster in the league. When you talk about learning some of the younger guys, getting that experience today, what would be the takeaways before you play Leinster again in a month's time? What would you be able to change or improve upon to your mind?
It's tough to say immediately after the game when you've not watched it back or anything, but my big feeling is just the importance of every single action in the 80 minutes, and you can train that. We get back to Scotland, the players have to take accountability, and every single time you've got an action in front of you, you do it as well as you can. And I think Leinster are the masters of that. And like I said, anytime you sort of deviate from what's working for you as a team, they'll capitalise on it. So for us, that's the big thing I think that you learn when you first sort of play against Ireland or Leinster.
You might have to beat this Leinster team if you want to hang on to that URC title. Is that a daunting prospect after what they've done? No,
we probably will, and it's something that you have to accept. It's for me, I think like Franco mentioned earlier, it's the scoreline's a scoreline, but I'm sure when you break down the game and look at it, after a couple of days and the feeling that you're obviously sitting in right now is sort of dissipated a little bit, you can be realistic about what happened today, and think about what you can do and what's in your control to change that result.
There's obviously some guys still to come back, but can they give you a big lift at the end of the kind of latter part of the season?
Yeah, everyone who's coming back, but also, this today was worthless if you don't do anything off the back of it. So everyone who's involved today as well, they play a massive role in what we do from here on.